Yeah, it's like, why am I gaining weight? Or are you trying to have, like, get someone who was in, like, a somewhat of a critical condition 20 years ago to join the military? Or, is that what they're trying to do? This is funny. This is what our country has turned into. Well, if you hadn't done what you had done 20 years ago, it wouldn't look this way. Well, that's how our country, the antonym of what I post on my profile here, the opposite of what I post on here, the way I handle my condition is much better than the way they handle theirs. I mean, the methods that they use to handle the same condition. That's what I was trying to say. Otherwise, they're schizophrenic. They don't see that. I mean, they should come to the realization and be like, oh yeah, well, we're going to have to drop all those commercials on television for the pharmaceutical ads if this is like, if this works. You know what I mean? It does. I mean, I had amnesia in my friend's car, and I had 7 months of hallucinogenic persisting perceptual disorder. And it took, within 3 months of that recovery, I had to get beyond clinical depression, which was extremely difficult because I was counting, seconds, minutes, days. I mean, seconds, minutes, hours, days, weeks, months, years, to a few years to several, in deciding whether or not if I would have been able to get beyond, if I had kidney damage or not. I didn't know whether or not I had kidney failure or damage, or how much damage I had done to myself at the time. So, okay, so they're saying like, okay, their belief is that it's like they follow this weird false religion of thinking if people don't take the pharmaceuticals in to help them in their recovery, you know what I mean? I mean, for a short amount of time, it's okay, I'd say. But for long term, if there's a better method like what I'm doing that works better from what I know with a comparison of several years, well, 20 years, I should say, from 2 years with an additional 18 being vegan and just being vegan and as my form of treatment, the comparison, um, see, they want to make it so that it's like, oh, so it's either their way or you're dead or you're arrested. It's like, I think that's what I am perceiving. After having to learn how to gain 40 pounds within a 2 to 4 year period after taking me 15 years to figure that out, how to do that. They want to create a problem in my early 30s, right? When my metabolism is slowing down after I was trying to claim to them 18 years ago that I had a fast metabolism. But, vitamin B6 helps with metabolism too. Helps with a lot of things, vitamin B6. But that's not the only thing that I do. You know, I I'm aware of omega-3 and 6 essential fatty acids. I avoid all animal proteins. That includes dairy, eggs, dairy which contains BCM7 or casein and casomorphin, which I actually became more susceptible to when I was reaching my early adulthood, in my early 20s. I was getting more of a reaction to that. So I have palinopsia to prove it. I was already tested with the pen light test. They could pick it up with electroencephalogram readings to prove it. So, in order to end up with palinopsia, one has to come close to death, or go through something like that, in order to end up having that scar tissue in their brain to, develop something like that. So it's not worth really, it's not worth trying to achieve that, but it's good that I have that actually to prove my case and what I what I demonstrate works. Now they have no idea what it was like for moi 20 years ago, where they continuously like to continue to subtract the past, it seems, from the time of someone's critical injury or near critical injury. They like to continue to erase the tracks of someone's recovery, it seems. Supposedly, the hospital only keeps medical records within their local system for only 3 months. 3 months, supposedly. I don't know if that's completely true. I think it should be stored like a permanent record. Otherwise, how are they supposed to know what actually works? I think orthorexia, it's a racial discriminatory issue. It's a stealthy racial discriminatory issue. Just because someone looks white doesn't mean that that's their ethnicity. They have to let go of that shit, I'll tell you. It doesn't mean that they're Hispanic either. Just because they look white and that they claim they have a certain dietary palate, it doesn't mean that they're Hispanic. You know what I mean? I'm Sicilian French and partially Tibetan, with more genetics that were expressed. If you can see here, see the way the pattern of his beard grows. Mine had the same pattern in my early 20s. Okay, just the way I looked in my early 20s, and this was last year when I was 35 years old still.